It's been my like entire Instagram feed for like 2 weeks. So I know what you're thinking. You read the title of the video and you're like, a graphics card at Goodwill? Come on, really? Like, is that a thing? I was shocked too, but yes, I found a graphics card at Goodwill. I have a picture. This is not a clickbait. This is no joke. None of that. I have a picture on my phone. I will look for it and try to find it and put it in the video if I can, that I took standing in Goodwill holding this. And here it is. This is, I am amazed that I found this in 2025 at a Goodwill. Here you go. Here's the proof right here. All right, is it focusing? Can it focus? Please, focus. Come on. Okay, if you can read that. $8.99, and it says, not tested. So obviously they didn't have the capabilities of testing this. Honestly, I don't think they knew what this was. So, what do we have here? Yeah, I'm just flabbergasted that this was a freaking Goodwill for $9. This is a GTX 460 from EVGA. 1 gigabyte of GDDR5 RAM. It's got a bunch of things that I'm sure were cool in 2010, but yeah, this is what you can see it looks like on the back. And honestly, I just kind of want to open this up. Let's take a look at this and see what exactly this is, because I am so curious. It's pretty heavy. I have not opened it yet, so if I open this up and there is just a graphics card in here, I will have spent $9 pretty well. All right, let's see here. Okay, got the graphics card. There's no like manuals or driver discs or anything else that would come with a graphics card normally, so it's just the box, and then okay, fair enough. It comes in an anti-static bag. The original EVGA anti-static bag. Okay. Well, it's a graphics card, but it is not the promised GTX 460. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is a GTX 760. Okay. I am at a loss for words right now. So, I bought a GTX 760 for $9 in a 460 box at a Goodwill. There are so many layers to how, like, wrong this situation is. This is incredible. This is incredible. I had to make a YouTube video about this. This is amazing. This is surprisingly clean. There's some fingerprints. Okay, there is a little bit of dust on the fans, which is like normal, but like on the PCB, on the metal housing for the PCIe bracket. It's even got the little rubber cover for the SLI bridge right here. It's got the rubber cover on there. It's surprisingly clean. It's a pretty clean thing, like no scratches or anything like that. Still got the sticker. It does not have the warranty sticker on one of these screws from the back, so maybe it was like opened up at one point. But I mean, it looks quite clean, I'm gonna be honest. So that's really interesting. So yeah, this is a GTX 760. Okay, so if this works, if I can plug this in and get a picture out of it, that is $9 very well spent. I could put this in a low-end system and, you know, I think that this is cool. I think that this is a pretty cool piece of gaming history. and I kind of want to put this on the shelf just to kind of have as like a decorative piece. I just think that this is really cool because, I mean, this is from a really long time ago. You can't find these anymore, so that's pretty neat. One thing that's actually kind of interesting is this is an EVGA GTX 460. This is also an EVGA 760. So what we can assume about the original owner is they were loyal to NVIDIA. They only had the budget for 60 series cards, and they liked EVGA. So consistency, good, good. Some things don't change. I'm kind of curious, like, why and how this ended up at Goodwill. Like, was mom throwing out a bunch of son's old stuff? Did he realize, like, it's probably not worth even selling this on eBay? You probably can't get much for it. Or Facebook Marketplace, probably not much money in it. Why Goodwill? How did this end up at a Goodwill? And I'm amazed that, like, they didn't take this and try to sell it somewhere else, because I mean, I have to assume that Goodwill just did not know what this was. That's all I can assume, because they priced it at $9, and I mean, even though this thing is not getting driver updates anymore. This is Kepler? Kepler or Maxwell? I forget. One of those two. But it's not getting driver updates anymore, but still, I mean, it maybe $25, $30, not, you know, $9. You know, I mean, it costs more than $9 to ship this thing, let alone, you know, how much it's actually worth. I mean, it can still play low end. Oh, fan does not sound good. I mean, but it can still play like your low end, you know, indie games and stuff like that, right? You know, where you just need any kind of graphics, the kind of things that can run on, you know, a potato. This is still capable of doing some very low end gaming nowadays. It's not junk by any stretch of the imagination. So I think the responsible thing to do is to plug this into a PC that makes sense, and let's see what this $9 Goodwill graphics card is capable of, because I am every bit as curious as you guys are. Okay, I got the thing plugged into the PC. The anticipation is slowly killing me. So it's got you got your 6-pin and 8-pin PCI power. So let's plug this thing, I got it hooked up to the portable monitor. Let's turn the thing on and let's see what happens. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. Okay, well, that's a post. So that's HDMI plugged in there. Can I see? Let me see if the fans, do we have fan spin? I want to check for fan spin. Yeah, both of the fans are spinning. So this thing just works. It's just a working GTX 760. Well, that was worth the $9, I guess. I'm just kind of sitting here kind of flabbergasted at this whole situation. This is incredible. Well, we know it works, so I guess the next thing is to just get an operating system installed on this thing, and let's take it for a spin and see how she games. I don't really know why, but I just kind of had the sudden urge to play zombies. So here we are in Black Ops 2 Mob of the Dead, and it runs like a dream. I have no complaints. I think my only complaint while capturing this footage is that the controls were terrible. I think I was playing this, I was not using my regular keyboard and mouse, so I kind of blame the keyboard and mouse that I was using. They're not really meant for really intense, rapid movement, high responsiveness gaming, so I kind of blame those, but we're at 1080p high, and we are basically locked at 60, so it's very good experience, very playable, no worries here. If you want to fire up some old school Call of Duty Zombies with your friends, this GPU is going to do very nicely for you. So starting out here with Fallout New Vegas, and I probably don't need to tell you that it's fine. It's our oldest game here. It was released in 2010 when the graphics card itself came out in 2013. It runs fine, locked 60 frames per second. It defaulted to 1080p Ultra with all the settings cranked up. I think maybe anti-aliasing was down a little bit. But overall, this game runs like an absolute dream, at least as well as it can, being, Fallout New Vegas. But actually, fantastic experience. It looks great. And you could even install a few graphical mods if you wanted to, and this thing should be able to handle it just fine. After Fallout New Vegas, of course I had to try Fallout 4. Now, this is a bit of an interesting one, because what you're seeing in the footage isn't actually very indicative of the gameplay. So with Fallout 4, it's actually a lot more CPU intensive than GPU intensive. Remember, this is paired with a Core i5-3470, an Ivy Bridge chip. Now, it plays the game fine. It's actually a lot more dependent on the CPU than the GPU. And with all of the AI and having to handle all of these objects and draw distances, the CPU is having a harder time than the GPU, which these textures aren't too hard for it. It should also be stated that I am recording all of this gameplay locally, so OBS is running on the CPU as well. So a CPU-intensive game, as well as recording with OBS, is going to make it struggle, but make no mistake, we're at 1080p, and we're between 50 to 60 frames per second. It's a very playable experience, and it's very solid. Doom 2016 is a game that I have seen run on integrated graphics, so I had absolutely no worries about the GTX 760 handling this game. And sure enough, we are at 1080p medium, pegged at 60. It doesn't even drop once. It's a fantastic experience, looks great, handles well. I love this game. It's such a great benchmark, and it's so well optimized. It looks good even to this day, almost 9 years later. It's still a great game, very fun. So I love this one a lot. This says I have no problems here. The last game we're going to be trying today is the newest and most demanding out of all the games that we're looking at, and that is the Resident Evil 2 Remake, released in 2019. For this one, we're at 1080p low. I did want to stick to 1080p just to be consistent, and I was able to turn down enough settings to get just within the 2 gig VRAM limit, but I kid you not, we were exactly at 2 gigabytes. We were right there. And with that, it performs pretty good. It's about on par with the PS4 and Xbox One, delivering about anywhere from 30 to 60 frames per second, depending on where you are and what's going on. It got into the 30s and low 40s when it was struggling quite a bit, but a lot of the time, when not too much was going on, you would hit those 60 frames per second, but it wasn't exactly consistent. Don't get me wrong, it's still perfectly playable, and I could totally play the game with this completely unbothered, but I might have to get used to it for a little while, playing it for a little while and just kind of getting acclimated to it. If it were me personally, I would probably go down to like 720p high, or maybe even 900p, but something that's not 1080p, just because that VRAM is a limitation. You can tell the card is good, it's just that the 2 gigs of VRAM is just not enough for modern games, and so that's really where we're being limited. So I'd probably lower the resolution, because I prefer a lower resolution with higher frame rates rather than a higher resolution with lower frame rates. But that's just me personally. It's going to come down to your mileage. But the fact that we're able to play such a new game with 2 gigs of VRAM, I think is pretty impressive, and it shows you how well this game is made and how well the GTX 760 holds up. I saw some other videos on YouTube about Resident Evil Village, and it seems that that game is pretty much pegged at 30 frames per second no matter what. And then the Resident Evil 4 remake, released in 2023, I was actually kind of curious about, but it turns out that that game does not support the Kepler architecture. So it does not support a 10-year-old, or 10 years old at the time of it was released, GPU, which is fair enough. So you can't even get that game running. I'm not sure if there are hacky workarounds, but I'm not going to bother because the performance is probably not going to be great. But that just goes to show you that there is a wide variety of games that this thing can play. but it is definitely starting to show its age. And there you have it. That is your $9 Goodwill graphics card. This has been a roller coaster. I spent $9 and I had more than $9 worth of fun. I promise you that. I really don't know what else to say. I have so many questions. How did this end up at Goodwill? Why did they put it out when they clearly didn't know what the hell it was and they had no way of testing it? Like, what's the story like here? Like, there is a story here that I'm just so curious about. And I want to be clear, this is not the first time I have found computer parts at Goodwill. I have found PC parts there before. Not graphics cards, but I have found probably 3 over the course of my time. 3 different power supplies from Goodwill. None of them were really fancy. A lot of them were kind of like knockoff cheapo brands. I did find one EVGA power supply that was in good condition many years ago, and I've since got rid of it. But it was a good one for an extra build that I was doing. And then several times what I found is power supply boxes that have like the extra cables from a modular power supply thrown in there. And again, the people working there don't know what this is. So you find this like power supply box with all these extra miscellaneous cables, but no actual power supply. And they're charging like $25 for it, and it's ridiculous. So I found stuff, you know, related to PC gaming at Goodwill before. Every now and then you'll find a mechanical keyboard that's, you know, a Chinesium brand, you know, knockoff mechanical keyboard. So obviously there's stuff out there, but to be very, you know, clear, I'm not going to recommend that you go to Goodwill to buy your gaming PC parts. It's just not, you know, I've been going to Goodwills for a decade and I've only had a handful, maybe less than 10, you know, gaming PC, you know, components. The reason why I want to make this video is because this is a unicorn right here. Like, I don't expect that this will ever happen again in the history of me going to Goodwill. I just don't think it will. So I just wanted to share that. But no, seriously, if you want to, you know, low-end game, that's fine. But just shop smart. I mean, a 760 for $9 is pretty much as good as it gets. But, you know, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, there are deals to be had. Just shop around, be a smart shopper, don't get ripped off. And, but if you are ever, you know, around going through thrift stores or recycling centers or whatever the case may be, keep an eye out because you'll never know what you'll find, as evidenced here. So that is, again, the $9 Goodwill graphics card that was supposed to be a 460, but it ended up being a 760. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment if you've ever, like, had an experience like this, because this is definitely something that I'm going to always remember. That's pretty impressive. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.